This episode of the SwitchCast is produced by Ollie Houston Blunn, our honored patron and Switch Knight. Hey everybody, I'm Casey.
And I'm JV.
And this is the SwitchCast-iversary. 1 year, 365 days, well, about 360 as time of recording, but close enough, of Nintendo Switch goodness being delivered to you over the magic of podcasting.
Wow, I cannot believe it's already been a year, Casey. Time flies when you're having fun with the Switch, you know?
Yeah, it really has, and honestly, it just makes me think that how slowly the time used to crawl last year around this time when we were still haven't had our hands on it, and it was just this dream, and we just had to find any excuse we could to talk about it because we were just exploding with enthusiasm for this thing. But those were some long trudging, but oddly enough, fondly remembered days for me.
Yeah, I do remember those days. It's an awfully quaint memory, because I would think back and we didn't really discuss anything substantial, since there wasn't much substantial to talk about. But we still had fun, we had a bunch of listeners, and everyone was in the hype train along with us.
Yeah, honestly. And we're going to be talking more about that, actually. We got a lot of great voicemail messages from the listeners. Thank you, everybody who sent those in. I can't wait. We're going to play them on the show. We're going to have a little feedback on that, and people are going to tell us their favorite moments over this last year. Also, we have finally, it was a Switch-iversary miracle. Our episode of the Switch Topics, Zelda Breath of the Wild, was salvaged from my computer's memory.
That was actually a concern for us.
Yes.
I know a lot of people were really hoping on the Discord chat that it didn't go away. But we got it.
I was so scared all week. I was it was just this tension in my chest the whole week that this thing, because it's something I really wanted to do too. And you know what? I even thought about, over the weekend before that happened, maybe I should just upload it to Patreon and then, just tell it to schedule the post for Monday. But I was like, I'll just do it when I, get up in the morning. And of course, blue screen of death there. But the file was saved. It has been posted. If you haven't seen it yet, or if you want to listen to it, patrons should all have gotten an email alert saying it's there to download. And some people have, downloaded it, then put it in iTunes to listen to it anyway. If you're not a patron, great time to consider just going over to patreon.com/theswitchcast. There's an extra 2 hours of content of us just blathering about Breath of the Wild with a bunch of community members. All it takes is a minimum $1 of backing us on Patreon. But if you want to go higher, go for it and help us out.
Yeah, honestly, it's a really good podcast. I was very impressed with how it turned out in the end.
Thank you.
Very good stuff.
I can't wait for the next game that is worthy of us diving in that deeply with, and we'll see what that becomes. I'm suspecting it's going to be Octopath Traveler, honestly.
Really?
I really feel like, if something else might come before that, possibly, but I, in my gut, feel like that's going to be the next game that has enough to dissect and is, has depth and is going to, it's not
especially story-wise. That's
right.
Something that we could really latch onto. But Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is coming out very soon.
That's
Casey.
true. That is true.
I think that might be our next one.
It actually could be very possible. Like I said, I've never played the Xenoblade Chronicles series yet, so I don't know personally. I'm getting good vibes from seeing it, but yeah, that could be one in the middle. That definitely could be another possibility. We'll see how that goes. So next week actually is going to be another special episode, in that you guys get to hear an episode without me.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure you guys are all tired of Casey's voice, aren't you? But yeah, you're going away next week. Speaking of going.
Yes, it's my turn to take a vacation. I will be spending the week in Curacao, scuba diving and getting my certification there. So I will, I will be away. But JV has taken up the mantle. You'll be filling in, and you already have lined up someone to replace me with, don't you?
Yeah, I definitely have plans for next week. It's going to be a relatively typical episode. Atypical because Casey's not on it, but typical content-wise. So, hopefully everything turns out well. If it doesn't, Casey's going to be back the week after, so it'll be fine.
I'll rebuild it from the ashes that JV leaves of the Switchcast.
I will leave this podcast burned to the ground.
But also, I will be back in time to have another tournament that weekend. So this weekend, not because I'm going to be away. But that weekend, I should run another tournament. I still figure out what it is. But we did have a tournament last weekend, and it was a Mario Kart battle tourney. And I just wanted to give credit to the guy who took it all. Weegoo, I don't know where he's from. Are
you sure it's Weegoo or is it Ouija?
Ouija, maybe. No, it was with a U, but maybe he was just
Ouija.
Maybe it was
Weegoo.
Maybe it was a Ouija reference. I don't know, but he came out of nowhere. He didn't even start at the very beginning. He missed a few races, but he came back from that disadvantage and he took it, and it was pretty fun. We had about 8 or 9 participants, and we just did different battle modes the whole hour, and it was pretty fun. I came in a respectable second place, though. I got to represent and give people some bar to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good bar to set for us. We have to prove that we don't suck at these games, Casey.
Yeah.
We're not absolutely awful.
There's definitely some battle modes I'm better at than other modes, like the bomb mode, the bomb blast. That is my mode. That is where I shine.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. I stink at Shine Runners. The coins I'm pretty good at. And the police one, what is that one? The roundup one?
Yeah.
Renegade Roundup. That's hit and miss. I mean, I guess it really depends on the chemistry, with the people you're with, though.
Right. But, congratulations. Good job.
Yeah, very good.
And it seems like a fun time.
Yes. All right, speaking of fun times, let's go into the game time and talk about our fun times of the week.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so this week I delved into the other dimension known as Dragonball Z Xenoverse 2.
Dragon, rock the dragon, Dragon Ball Z. Did it actually play the theme song?
It didn't play that theme song. It has its own song, but honestly, it does have the soul of that theme song. It does feel like a golden age Dragon Ball Z kind of a game, even though it takes place in the post Dragon Ball Z universe with it kind of meshes everything together. If anyone's not familiar with the Xenoverse series, there's one other game in the series right now. It's this weird kind of concept where you are part of this group called the Time Patrol, and you are a bunch of super warrior heroes who are going back in time to critical points in the Dragon Ball Z history and correcting things that for some reason are being altered. Pivotal moments, like what if, the classic one we see is like what if Piccolo missed with his special beam cannon and didn't kill Raditz? Yeah, at that moment. How do you have to show up and you have to set things right and help him actually kill Raditz at that moment. And you're trying to figure out who keeps going around and messing with these timelines and stuff like that. It's actually pretty cool in that you do get to see weird combinations of things happening. There's even a scene where what if no one killed off Nappa and both him and Vegeta turn into giant monkey people, and you actually have to fight in one scene 2 giant, gorilla Saiyans.
Yes, right. So the Ozara mode,
yes,
where they turn into that gigantic ape, right?
Yeah, it all sorts of scenes like that, and it's pretty cool. I haven't gotten to see all of them yet because there's a decent amount of them, but and so this is obviously going to be a fighting game, but it's kind of a weird mixture of fighting game, I want to say like a Monster Hunter style of
Monster Hunter.
In that at least in that it has a hub city that feels somewhat MMO-ish, in that you have a hub city, other people can be there, and you could run into them, and it's not just you taking on missions, you can go and recruit other players to take on missions with you.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So are they actual live multiplayer?
Yeah, these are
other people?
Other people that you get online, and you'll go online and you'll either get your friends, or you will, just pick up random, pug groups, and you'll go and you'll take these missions on together in a Monster Hunter style of party recruitment. That's what I mean by Monster Hunter wise, it kind of has that feel. And
okay.
The hub world actually it feels like it's almost an MMO setting, because it has all these shops where you walk around and you can buy clothes or gear. It's incredibly deep in terms of like the customization, because you're not just making a fighter. And you do make your custom character with a lot of really cool options. Like if you want, you could be, a blue-skinned Namekian with a buzz cut or a mohawk fin or something like that. Or you could be one of the Frieza people and design him any way you want, or a Boo or Earthling or a Saiyan, all sorts of things. And there's just so many options of how you can customize the person. And as you're playing it, you're going to get all sorts of customizable clothing options and that kind of stuff. And it's fun too. You also get a ton of options as you're playing of how to customize your fighting style even. Like there's just so many special moves you can unlock. You can go to characters, like you can go to like different Kais, or you can train under Goku and stuff like that, and you can unlock new fighting moves.
Okay.
And the battles are pretty crazy. Like let's say it feels like the battles are pretty brawlery in that it's not just you versus one guy. So don't think of it like a fighting game, like one-on-one type fighting game. Like these typically are, you show up at a map, you might use your scouter and look around and try to find, some enemies, and then you go to them and you fly over, and then you fight like 20 different Cybermen or something like that, in really crazy battle that can be kind of hard to manage, because you got to lock onto one guy, but at the same time you're locking on and fighting one dude, like 3 others are trying to punch you from behind, but if you hit a certain button, right, you do that little teleport thing, and you're behind them, and you're punching that. It's very hectic. The combo system's pretty simple. It almost feels like a Dynasty Warriors type, combos generally are like Y, X,
right,
or Y,
it's a bit
X.
mashy, mashy.
It's a bit mashy. But like I said, there's a ton of customization, so like maybe later on, I think you're probably going to unlock more interesting combos, or at least what they do, because all the complexity of the game is the under the hood stuff. Like I don't think this game needs complex button motions. I don't need Hadoukens. I don't need to remember how to do 50 different moves. So it's probably best that this game keeps it with very simple.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, with the controls at least.
So what multiplayer elements are there? Like, why would you actually pair up with teammates in that hub world?
Well, because like the missions, usually the missions, you have a team with you. If you don't get human players, you'll just recruit a team of AI characters.
Okay.
And it's funny because actually you could pick from whatever you've unlocked. You can pick Dragon Ball Z characters to go with you, or you could even pick to be one of them. Like the last time I played, even though I made a custom character, I could just say, I want to be Piccolo this fight. I'm going to bring Gohan and Krillin with me. And now we're this team, and we go and do this mission. And it really helps when you have, like I said, like if you have like 10 minor enemies, it's good to split them off, because it just gets very annoying when like one little munchkin's nipping at your heels
around you, right?
Yeah. So it's good to split them up. And the AI is not crazy good anyway, so you want humans there to really hold their own during these fights.
Yeah, I was actually pretty surprised to hear that there's multiplayer elements to this. I thought if there was multiplayer, it would just be a straight up versus mode.
Yeah. And you know, there are options to fight other players. I haven't like tried that out yet because I just did not feel like I was ready for that. But it is, I can see that there is enough depth in the combat system for that to be interesting. At the same time, since the game is stat-based, you do level up, you do, you know, stat up and stuff like that. There would have to be some sort of like, all right, I don't know if there's some sort of level syncing system involved, so it's always even Steven, you know what I'm saying? Okay,
yeah. Either way, it's definitely a deeper experience than you expect from most Dragon Ball games. So.
Yeah. This truly is, like, I will say, first off, if you are a Dragon Ball Z fan, you're going to love this game. Like, it's so nicely done, and it feels like such a homage to the series in the way that, not only in how you go back to all these, like, classic favorite scenes, and you get to feel like you're in them, and you're quantum leaping, basically, and fixing these all up. It's just the way that it does spins on them, like, getting to see these alternate histories of like what would have happened if this character didn't die, and little jokes like because you work under the Supreme Kai of Time, and what's his name, Trunks is there too. He's like a main character in this as well, and she even makes jokes that like, yeah, we're trying to prevent people from changing time, you know, like Trunks did. He's like, sorry.
Yeah, that's honestly, it sounds like fun. I'm a fan of Dragon Ball. I'm not the biggest fan, but it's one of those things that I grew up with as a kid. And looking at gameplay videos of this, it seems like it'll definitely scratch that nostalgic itch, and I'm interested in picking it up. It came out at the same time as Pokken, so
yeah. I don't know if if you're already into something like Pokken, this might still have a place in that it's more focused on the adventure. Like kind of what we said during Pokken was it's rare to find a fighting game that has an interesting one-player mode. This is a fighting game that the solo, or at least the story mode, is the emphasis. And the co-op is really the emphasis. Fighting other people is really probably something that might interest you down the line as endgame content, but I don't feel like it's a super draw as you're playing through the story.
Right, I can definitely see that.
And I just gotta say, I love how the graphics look. It really does look like just the
anime.
Yeah, it just looks like the anime that you're controlling. Even when you create your own character, he looks like an original character, and he fits into the world, and they even give him a portrait that looks pretty legit. And I was having fun with it. Now, granted, the drawbacks are you have this whole hub world thing that you kind of got to get used to, and you got to find quest givers, and you got to look around and remember, who's the guy who sells the equipment I want, or where's he located? And, you know, you even have to earn a license to fly around town. They don't let you just fly around town at first. You have to get a license.
Yeah.
Anyway,
okay.
It's been pretty good fun, and I still think even if you're not a Dragon Ball Z fan, there's a pretty good chance you might still like this if you're looking for maybe a comedic and not super hyper competitive type of fighting experience.
Okay, yeah. It sounds like it's worth picking up as a fun experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think so too. And again, also, if you're not into like, you know, crazy button combos and stuff, and you know, but it is really hectic. Like I said, it's not easy for me to grasp the combat yet. You know, like I said, switching around to different targets and remembering what the heck I'm doing, and the camera kind of messes around sometimes, and I'm like, oh, am I underwater? What, should I be flying? Does it matter that I'm running? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to grasp. Did you play anything this week?
Yeah, so I actually played Human Resource Machine, which is honestly a completely different mood to Dragon Ball Z.
This is like very stark kind of game, right?
Yeah, it's stark, it's a little grim, but it's a puzzle game, so it's not button mashy or actiony. It's almost purely thinky and puzzle solving.
Okay.
So, Human Resource Machine, the basic concept is that robots are kind of taking over everyone's jobs. And so, in order for humans to be able to keep up, they have to become just as efficient as a robot. So,
oh boy.
The puzzles in this game are practically programmatic puzzles.
Oh, this is almost all too real a situation.
So the fundamental gameplay of the human resource machine is that you're an office worker being guided by your uber bossy managers, and you have to solve a specific puzzle. And the puzzle is to get one side inboxes over to the other side with various specifications that the puzzle requires.
Okay.
It starts off pretty simple, and you essentially plug in different commands in order to instruct your office dude to bring boxes to the left and to the right.
Okay.
So let's say an easy puzzle is that you have ones and zeros on the left side. Mm-hmm. And the boss only wants you to bring the zeros over to the outbox. And so you have to plug in different commands that say, if you have a 1, you throw it away, and then you pick up the next one. If it's a 0, you bring it to the outbox. And then that's how you solve the puzzle.
Okay.
So as you progress, the commands that you're given get a little bit more complex. Like you can get the values of one box, add it to another, and if it's an even, and that's what the puzzle's looking for, you send it to the outbox. So-and-so, different mathematical puzzles that you have to figure out. Over time, I actually found out that the puzzles are almost exactly programming puzzles.
Oh, interesting.
Like actual programming.
Like the kind of stuff that you might get as like a homework assignment in a basic programming course or something?
Yes. It was actually a bit of a revelation because the commands are almost exactly assembly coding that you're doing in order to output a certain very specific set of numbers. And I'm like, holy cow, these puzzles are what I learned in college, in assembly class.
That's pretty cool. Oh, assembly class. And you're assembling boxes, kind of.
Yes.
Okay.
Assembly is the language. And in this game, you're essentially plugging in pseudocode in order to output specific numbers that your office manager wants. That was a mind-blowing experience. Yeah. So you essentially learn about if statements in programming, functions in programming, you combine stuff, you utilize an array of data in order to store information for use later on in the code. It's very interesting how this works.
I was curious now because I always am trying to think of systems like this or games, and there's a few like board games even that are like very good at programming lessons like this. Do you think with the art style, would this be a kind of game that is approachable to, let's say, a younger kid? Because I feel like things that teach programming mindsets is something that kids need more these days. I almost feel like programming should just be something you start at like 3rd grade and just become a basic of elementary school. So would this game possibly be something that like I could give like a 10-year-old and he'd be able to enjoy it?
Yeah, it's a bit tricky. The world is kind of bleak, so
that's the thing, right?
Little kids might not necessarily latch onto the aesthetic of that.
Yeah, okay.
But the fundamental puzzles themselves are approachable to anyone.
Okay.
I actually played this game with David, and he has 0 programming experience whatsoever. Mm-hmm. It was definitely interesting to see someone who doesn't know programming and didn't even realize that this was a programming-based game, try to approach these puzzles and start learning the fundamental concepts of assembly code. It was kind of crazy. A lot of the code is flat out stuff that I had to solve as homework in college.
That's cool. That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah,
maybe someone can do a reskin of this game and make it a little more cheery for...
Yeah, I think so. And
well, did you like the aesthetic though, or did you feel that the aesthetic was a little, a hindrance?
I thought the aesthetic and the dialogue prompts were hilarious.
Okay,
it's all tongue in cheek, and all the dialogue are jokes about how corporations want efficiency and how you better be doing this correctly, or else some really hilarious but horrible HR problem is going to happen.
Okay, that's cool. At least it's tongue in cheek and enjoyable, not just depressing me to death.
And I just loved how someone who had no experience with programming started to slowly figure out the basic concepts of code. Like, I could see the puzzle and I could see what it asks for, and I'm like, bam, this should be the answer. You do this, you jump the code here, you do a if-else statement and all that stuff. But the churning in someone's mind if they have no idea what how programming works, it's really an interesting thing to view.
Cool. Especially being somebody who, like, lives and dies by computer code.
Yeah, exactly. And I do have to say, you start off the game with relatively simple puzzles, and after each puzzle, you feel really smart afterwards. There are certain puzzles about in the middle of the game, and later on the game, that really delve into meatier programming concepts, and that can get really tricky if you don't know anything about code. So, yeah, it gets way more difficult as the game progresses, but there's a lot of guides online. The hint system that's built into the game is pretty generous, and if you have any interest in pseudocode, in basic fundamental coding concepts, Human Resource Machine, you should check it out. This was a huge surprise to me.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, and that's a game that came out pretty early in the Switch's lifespan, so...
It's old, actually. I think it was even on the Wii.
Yeah.
So they brought it back over to the Switch, and I'm glad it's in such a portable medium for Nintendo fans.
Very cool. Switching to a cheerful note, have you made any progress in Stardew Valley?
Yeah, I have. I mean, I'm living my farming life.
That's good.
Going to events, doing my thing.
I did finally cave and installed it on my Switch this week.
As you should.
As I should. No, honestly, I shouldn't, because this game is dangerous for this podcast. Because I can't play anything else this whole week. I just, every time I sit down, I just want to load up Stardew Valley. It was very hard to play anything else. It sucks me in. And the main thing was, it was a very appropriate week for it to show up, because I've been very stressed out this week. I had a lot of stuff going on, planning for this trip, and of course, since I'm going on vacation, everyone at work is dumping stuff on me to get it done before I go, and just a whole bunch of stuff was really putting me in a bad place this week. But sitting down with Stardew Valley was like the ultimate escape for me. I really did get lost in this town and just, all right, what do I want to do today? Do I feel like going to the mine? I'm just going to go fishing maybe today. Oh, there's Emily. Oh, Emily, I've been meaning to give you this turnip I grew today. Yeah, and, a little chit chat and stuff. And it's been very good. It's been a very positive influence on my mindset this whole week.
Yeah, that's the thing about Stardew. It's so stress-free. You can just take your experience and roll with it. And I love that about the game. But yes, you're right. It is absolutely engrossing, and it's one of those games that you kind of just want to pick up and lie down and rest and chill with.
Exactly, man. It's going to be great on the airplane, I got to say.
Oh, yeah, Casey, have you decided who you are going to marry in the game yet?
All right, well, here's the thing. I don't feel I've really gotten to know the characters well enough yet. I've been talking a lot to Abigail, and then there was Emily with the blue-haired one, and Leah. I wasn't really interested, but she's very low maintenance to talk. Like I can give her a stick, and she's like, "Oh, that's such a nice gift, thank you." Whereas I'm having a hard time honing in on everyone else's tastes. So Leah is just very laid back and just makes me feel welcome in this town where half the people are just really surly with me right now. Especially the younger dudes, but I'm making friends with more people than just the marriage option, so I've been all right with that. But I feel like I have to have more of those interactions where I learn about the characters. But I do have to say, I kind of felt sad when I got to the flower festival, the dance, and no one would dance with me, and I actually did feel like I had a slight feeling of dejection as that happened.
Oh, I had a strong feeling that you would latch onto this game.
Yeah.
It definitely fits your style and aesthetic. Have you played Harvest Moon games before, Casey?
I have, but you know what? I mean, and I did enjoy them, but I did feel like, at least the ones I played, I didn't feel many of them, but I feel like a lot of times I would do the motions of, all right, what I have to do at the farm, and then it would just be like, I don't know what to do. There wasn't that many options of what else to do, and I would just be like, all right, let me go talk to everyone. Maybe someone has something new to say, maybe not. And then I would just kind of hope for a random event. And if a random event came, great. If not, all right, whatever, just wait till the next day. I feel like this has a lot more, like, I always am like, I'm in this weird place where progress is so slow, yet at the same time, I always feel like I'm progressing. Like every day, I'm like, all right, today maybe I'll get in a few levels lower in the mine, or, ooh, I'm saving up for that new backpack. Ooh, or maybe I should build a coop first, you know? And I there's always something on the hopper to do, and that I'm excited about happening soon.
That's actually a really good point, because yeah, there have been times in past Harvest Moon games where I didn't know what to do, and I didn't feel like there was much, and I didn't even feel like there was much I could do that day, so I would just skip it and wait until the next festival comes up. But in this, yeah, there's such a wide, diverse array of things you can have fun with. It's a good experience.
Yeah.
We've talked about it 3 weeks in a row, and there's a reason why people love this game so much.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to put my little, throw my little 2 cents on there that I'm hitting that up, and I'll probably, I will be talking about this in the Stardew Valley chat we have set up in the Discord. If anyone's not familiar, we actually did set up rooms for at least the biggest or most demanded titles. So if there's, right now we have a room for Splatoon 2, a room for Pokken, and a room for Stardew Valley. So if those are things that you want to talk with people about or just have a question about, definitely come into our Discord chat and join in one of those rooms. And there's plenty of people who are always looking to gab about these things and analyze them even further.
Yeah, it's a good game.
All right, let's shift into the news rundown.
All right, let's do it.
All right, kick us off, JV.
All right, to start with, the ARMS update that we were hyping so much is out now. All right, it looks like we got all of the patches adding the new badge feature that was really cool. Recent replays were added as well, and now you can see a bunch of replays of past matches to check out all the cool stuff that you did in past games. Obviously, some balance updates. And did it go over that robot guy?
All right, so yeah, what it also threw in, which is kind of a weird thing, but it's interesting, that robot guy that we thought was a new character to play as is actually this weird challenger who shows up whenever you're going really well through the stages. If you're in level 4 difficulty or higher, and you're just doing too good against your opponents, he shows up and he'll challenge you.
That's pretty cool. That's a really cool way to break up the monotony of just constant wins.
Yeah, I think that's I wonder if you get something special for beating him in there. I don't know, or maybe you do unlock him as a character afterwards, but
probably a special badge of some sort.
Yeah, maybe something like that. So anyway, yeah, that's in that update. But there was another update I think that we were both pretty hyped about.
Oh yeah. So the Pokken Tournament DX update will now allow for online team battles.
Very cool. That is the one thing that I was like, I don't know why this isn't online. I mean, I know it takes longer to do these battles a little bit than regular fights, but this is like the biggest draw of this iterations for me.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, team battles are when you pick 3 different Pokemon and you have to fight them all against the opponent.
Right.
Health does not heal between each round, and that's what makes it special. It makes it feel like the actual Pokemon game.
Yeah, it feels like, right, it has that same kind of feel of a Pokemon battle. You start with your first ones, it stays in until it gets knocked out, and then you pick from your remaining 2 who's going to go in next, and then you pick your final one for the final round. And yeah, and last Pokemon standing wins. And it's pretty cool. It forces you to not just focus on one mon. So I've been trying to learn. I feel comfortable with a second guy now. I'm not just a Breaksin specialist. I've also been learning Charizard. And I'm trying out members for the 3rd slot in my team.
See, that's what I like about it, because team battles really let you explore different elements of the game. Mm-hmm. You can have a quick striker for some matchups and then bring in a heavy hitter for others. It allows you to mix and match your overall fighting experience, and it diversifies everything. I like it. Yeah.
Also, I feel like this is going to be like the default like tournament style that we're going to be interested in. But then again, I feel like there's also going to be people who are just like, nope, I'm a Machamp guy, and that's all I'm fighting with, so forget these. But I think a lot of us will be interested in this.
Yeah, I definitely want to see what mode the hardcore competitive scene latches onto.
Yeah.
And that's probably
I would like to see this get into the competitive like favor. I think it adds a whole new dynamic to the strategy of it all.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of competitive modes, they also added a new recording feature in the free training mode. So this essentially allows you to record one of your opponent's Pokemon movements in training that they can constantly repeat so that you can train and learn how to react against that specific move.
Yes.
This is incredibly useful for practicing competitive moves, because you're going to see similar moves in future tournaments or in future competitive scenes that you have. And you want to know how to practice. You want to know how to react to those moves.
Yeah.
And this is a way you can do that.
One of the biggest... there's several characters I could name right off the top of my head. Like Gengar's... what is it? The punch that comes through the portals, and Mewtwo's Hyper Beam are just a couple of the moves that, honestly, when I first encountered people who just spammed them, I literally did not know how to even advance, and all the opponent had to do was spam this move, and I wanted a mode to practice against a few of these but there was no way to just tell the computer, just shoot me with this until I figure out how to dodge it. And it took me several battles, and that's one of those things I was saying, people, rematch me, please, because I need to learn how to beat these things, but they wouldn't, and so, yeah, now I can go, and I'm like, all right, next time I see a Gengar, I'll be ready for, I know this is an attack or this is a maneuver that will dodge that attack.
Yeah, it's good that they're continuously adding new features to this game. And it was actually a big concern for people. A lot of the Pokken community expected DX to just be another throwaway game. But no, they're adding constant DLC and new modes, and I'm hoping they continue to update this game continuously in the long-running future.
Do you think they'll add a new character?
We'll see.
All right.
I'm hoping.
Okay.
DLC is not out of the question for this.
Yes. We also got to look at least for Japan, 3 more Muso or Warriors games that are coming to the Switch in Japan. No guarantee they'll come here, but I've never felt that Muso games are too text dependent. Usually you just can look at icons, but you got to beat. But if anyone's interested in this genre, there's Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires, Samurai Warriors Spirit of Sonata, and Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate. And these all just were released, and just lots of hack and slash there. And if you want to try to download them, they might, or import them, that might be worthwhile for some people. But we'll see if any of these come over to the West.
So something I'm also kind of excited about. Apparently there is a VR Mario Kart setup over in Japan.
Yes, also only in Japan right now. And yeah, this is pretty cool looking.
So you're inside of a little stationary go-kart, and you have a VR headset, and you're in a Mario Kart-esque world.
Yeah, no, it's flat out the game, and it even lets you throw the shells by like holding your hand up, and you will like launch a turtle shell by like flinging it in your hand, and they even have like fans that blow wind in your face to make you feel like you're, racing forward through the track. It's pretty cool, and I heard some good reviews of it. It's part of a whole VR suite. You pay $40 and you get to play 3 different games out of a list of 6 or something. But you know what? It just makes me wonder. Hey, maybe this is their first little test out of what VR possibilities Switch games could have in the future.
Yeah. Now, it would be good to note that this Mario Kart VR experience is kind of like a guided experience. You're not actually racing. But yeah, it simulates you being in the cart itself, throwing these items and hitting people. It looks fun.
Yeah. Mantis Burn Racing, while we're on the topic of racing games, they just announced that it's going to be another cross-platform game for the Switch, and it will be at 60 frames per second. This was just another, it's like an off-road kind of doom buggy racing game.
The perspective cool. Actually looks kind of like a slot car racing.
Yeah,
that. It's top-down slot car.
Yeah, that kind of fun. Thing. Yeah, but just to see more and more of these games are having this cross-platform play, and I don't know, it's just nice to see the breaking down of the barriers, and more people for us to play with is always nice.
Absolutely. Now, another interesting note is that the eShop now has a sale section, which means if there is a sale on the eShop itself, you'll have a section you can jump to directly to see what games are being charged at less than full price. I
feel was it last week that we answered the Community Pulse question, or was it the week before where someone asked us what features we'd like to see on the eShop in the future? And I feel one of us said that, a section for discounts or sale games, I feel that came up somewhere, but...
it's possibly we brought it up. I know I wanted a section specifically for demos.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sale games is really good too.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't feel I see sales that often before. But the fact that there's a section for it does imply that we're going to see something on sale once in a while. And just to jump ahead, actually, on the note, they did, one of the most recent sales was for a game that's released this week, Don't Knock Twice, had a 20% launch discount. So sometimes there'll be some new games like that there. And so it's definitely worth, looking at. And sometimes, you're not going to buy a game for $20, but you're like, you know what, $15, that's just the right price for this game.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's true. I definitely feel like certain games are far more worth it when they're on sale.
Yeah. Are you any interested in? I know that you were playing Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I'm fairly certain you didn't beat the game. You didn't have time to beat it or anything like that. But
right.
I know that we just got the Ultra Challenge Pack DLC.
Yeah, so this definitely looks cool, at least based on the trailer. It even adds chaotic co-op mode, which is something that I feel like this game would really benefit from. I love turn-based co-op games since it helps you... you can really crunch minds and crunch strategies with a friend, and it's fun.
Yeah, it has 8 ultra-hard challenges also to take on, so if you were one of the people who thought that the game might not have been totally challenging, now there's some, stages that might really press your team to its limits. But I agree, the co-op was something that really interested me about this game, and I was, it sets it apart from other tactics games like this. And I that would be the feature that I would be most interested in checking this out.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, just a note, though, if you did get the Season Pass, some people have been having trouble downloading this DLC pack. So right now they're working on a patch for this to fix this problem because it's supposed to download automatically. But if it hasn't, you may have to go and re-download the Season Pass just to fix the problem temporarily.
Yeah, that seems like a relatively simple fix, and hopefully Nintendo can patch it up soon.
Yeah. So, yeah, we had the newest Splatfest last weekend. Did you have time to take part in this one?
Unfortunately not. There's so many games to play.
Yeah,
but congratulations, Casey. Looks like Team Vampire won the last Splatfest.
3 wins. 3 wins. Yes, it was a clean sweep of popularity and both things. So it did, at least, I just only want to bring it up because it did break the pattern we thought we were seeing of the least popular teams winning. But it did bring to attention a new possible pattern.
Apparently, Pearl's team is the constant winners now.
Yes.
That's wow.
I'm just, maybe we're just that kind of, maybe Pearl fans. Not that I think many people are picking based on the Pearl issue of it, but maybe Pearl fans are just twisted in that weird way that makes us sociopathic ink killers.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, I definitely still want to see more Splatfests to see if this pattern continues, but it's an interesting take on the whole situation.
It's just funny because, people are very passionate about that. I feel like that's the truest rivalry. All these other things are just battlefields for us to pick Marina versus
Pearl.
Pearl, yeah. Really.
And I remember there was a lot of concern early on about everyone picking Marina because she's the most waifu material. There was even quite a bit of animosity towards that. But yeah, Pearl's winning a lot now.
And I only bring this next article up because it's just kind of been a thing we talk about every so often in the chat. People are always kind of holding hope that we'll get the Secret of Mana remakes on Switch, or a westernized version of the Secret of Mana collections, the Seiken Densetsu collections that they have in Japan. And it was just a recent interview to Red Bull. Producer Masaru Oyamada explained that development for the title actually began before the Switch was announced. So it was definitely beyond our expectations to see the level of anticipation for the release on the platform grow this much. In other words, we had no idea that people were going to be like this hyped about the Switch, let alone hyped about bringing Secret of Mana to the Switch, as much as it looks like the kind of game that would just find a perfect home there.
Yeah, it really would be a good fit for the Switch. It's unfortunate that it's not coming.
Yeah, it sounds like they pretty much were closing down that option, though, I mean, people are going to hope, so I don't want to smash any dreams, but it just sounds like that's just not a focus of theirs, or at least not in the near future.
Yeah.
All right, down the pipe we have... Oh, right, we got a really cool future graph. One of those, we haven't seen one of these, actually, since back before the Switch came out, when they showed us just the third parties that they expected games to be coming out, and then people started putting together their own infographics of what games are coming out in the first year of the Switch. So it's been a little while. And now we get to see all these little titles that, we got to look forward to for a while. It's a pretty fun little infographic.
And there's so many games. Fire Emblem Warriors, Super Mario Odyssey, Doom, Snipper Clips Plus, L.A. Noire, Skyrim, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Rocket League. We have so much going on, Casey.
Yep, all the way up until 2018. It shows you all the holiday titles. It's pretty fun just to look at that. Maybe if you're looking to do some holiday planning for shopping, this might be worth looking at. We'll probably get the 2018 infograph soon anyway.
Yeah.
Cat Quest, we got a confirmation that it's coming in November. That's the pretty cool little action RPG with a cute little kitty. It's an isometric kind of action game too.
It is, frankly, too adorable to exist.
Doom confirmed for November 10th.
Yeah, and I'm definitely wanting to pick that up, not only to support the fact that Bethesda's investing so much on the Switch, but because I'm really itching for a first-person shooter game on this platform.
These two titles both look like something you're interested in, though.
Yes, so Super Beat Sonic is being released on the Switch November 21st. Pretty classic rhythm game, and you know how much I love my rhythm games.
Yeah. But did you see what's in this BlazBlue title that we got confirmation?
So BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle is a proper 2D fighting game that's coming out on the Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
In 2018.
It is a 2v2 game.
Yeah, so what's most fascinating about this is that it's a blend of BlazBlue characters, Persona characters, Under Night In-Birth characters, and Ruby characters?
RWBY. It's red, white, black, yellow. Have you ever heard of this little thing here?
Yeah, so Ruby's actually gotten pretty popular. It's an online web series based on these 4 characters going to a magical school of weaponry and grim hunters and stuff like that.
I just like it for every so often they do the food battle ones, where it's like everyone just replaces their weapons with, like nunchuck
food
sausages and stuff. And
yeah, so Ruby is a franchise from Rooster Teeth, and this is kind of like an independent studio. So the fact that Ruby is being lumped in with BlazBlue and Persona is showing how much this indie franchise is getting huge in Japan.
It really is. And honestly, I've heard people murmuring that they wanted to see a Ruby as its own game. Yeah, as its own fighting game. And I think this is going to make a lot of people ecstatic to see that, all right, they didn't get their own fighting game, but they're there. At least Ruby Rose here is in there. I don't know what other characters are there, but...
So, they teased earlier that the white character, Weiss Schnee, is part of it too.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah. I actually have friends that work in Rooster Teeth and work specifically on Ruby, so I'm proud of that.
Very cool. And I know you're a big Persona fan, so having Persona 4 Arena characters also, I imagine, is a hype for you.
Yeah, this is the first time a Persona-type thing is going to be on the Switch. So
yeah, that's true.
Pumped. And the Sonic Forces skin character does not count.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
That's coming 2018.
Anyway, another super hype game to come out on the Switch. Ubisoft is bringing Uno to the Switch, the card game.
Oh, right, yes. You know what? Honestly, if they make this a cheap little casual game that you could play online against other people, it'll sell. And then they put this on everything, and it's just a good, relaxing card game for people who don't like more complex card games.
Right, and apparently they were even throwing in the Rabbids as like a skin to interact with. So, I'm not a fan of the Rabbids. And Uno is Uno.
It's Uno.
It's Uno.
It's universal appeal. Heroes of the Monkey Tavern is a first-person dungeon crawler. Very old school kind of gameplay, but very new school kind of graphics. It looks pretty cool. Just looks like, your traditional, you got your party, you move in first person, and you run into things, you find traps, and you try to get through dungeon. It reminds me of the Dungeons and Dragons PC game that I first played like 100 years ago.
Oh, wow. That is classic. Yeah.
All right. Now, this is a Kickstarter I'm interested in. And try not to hold against them, because some people are going to groan when they hear that this is actually the same developer that was behind, was that one? In the Night Sky?
Vroom
in the Night Sky. But it sounds like what they're doing here is acknowledging almost what the main flaw with that was, because this is a Kickstarter to translate better a game that they worked on called Orderland. And Orderland is a game that, just looking at the Japanese trailers for, I kind of like. And it's a combination of RPG, simulation, and adventure game where you're going to switch between different perspectives of the same world. Like, you'll go through simulation mode where you're like a king and you're making decisions about what happens to the kingdom and what gets built, or meta things like that. And then you'll switch to RPG mode, and now you're adventurers going through that world that the king has made and taking on dungeons or solving problems. And there's an adventure mode where you have more like interactions or puzzle solving stuff to do in that world. So it's a really cool concept, and it has like that old school RPG look to it. But they want to get the translation right. And a lot of people said the biggest problem with Vroom in the Night Sky was like it was a very kind of like cheaply done translation, even though I think the game wasn't like super hot to begin with. But this looks awesome. And if they do this translation right and bring it to Switch, I will be giving this a look at. So I'll leave a link in the show description if anyone's interested in backing Orderland.
Okay. All right.
Give him a shot. Give him another shot, guys.
All right.
All right. So then let's hit up the new releases.
Okay. So the games that are out now, The Flame in the Flood, Yono and the Celestial Elephants, King of Fighters 95 for Neo Geo. So yet another King of Fighters. Neon Chrome, Square Boy vs. Bullies Arena Edition, Rogue Trooper Redux, yet another Jackbox in Jackbox Party Pack 4, Don't Knock Twice with a 20% launch discount. That's the horror game that's on the Switch. Spelunker Party.
This is like that 4-player platformer action-y game.
And Party Golf.
Yes.
Putty Pals, The Count Lucinor, which was that interesting pixel horror game that we mentioned a while back.
I want to play that. That's the game I want. That's going to be my Halloween game. Honestly, that is my Halloween game for sure.
Huh. Good call. There's Jij.
Yeah.
Or Jij. Is that how you say it?
I don't know, man. Your guess is as good as mine.
Jij. All right, Jij.
Judge. I'm going to guess Judge.
But it's spelled Jydge.
I'm going to guess that it's Judge. That's all. They're doing something funny for the Judge name.
I'm going with Jij. Okay. So Jij. And Elliot Quest.
Yes. October 20th, we have Fire Emblem Warriors and Siberia. So that's two, a very hot action game and a very slower paced, deeper puzzle adventure game.
On October 23rd, there's Pole, the Explorer Edition.
Oh yeah, that's the one that's like the Mario game. It feels like a third-party attempt at making a Mario 64 kind of game.
Yeah. It's interesting that it's releasing right before Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
Like right before.
That's true. Yeah. October 24th, we have Knights of Azure 2, Bride of the New Moon, Just Dance 2018, and The Mummy Demastered, which is, I remember this one was the platformer game based on the Mummy Dark Universe from the Universal Monster movies. Actually looked like a pretty fun little platformer shoot-'em game.
And it's funny that it's called Demastered.
Yeah. It kind of sounds like they're like making it, because it's scaled down to like 16-bit graphics, so it's like they're taking this movie license and making an old school game out of it.
Yeah, not bad. And October 27th is Super Mario Odyssey.
The big one.
Yes, the proper Super Mario game. So excited. It's going to be fun.
Yes, indeed. And that's going to be coming out while I'm away, or it's going to be coming out the day after I get home. So I should be able to pick it up right after I get home.
Okay, nice.
All right, it's the time for the Community Pulse, and let's try to keep the tears to a minimum, okay?
All right. I will try, Casey.
All right, Community Pulse. We asked for your voicemails and you guys delivered. So let's just hear what you guys have to say about what your favorite moment with the Switch or with the SwitchCast has been in this past year since we've been waiting and enjoying this system. Here we go.
Hey Casey, hey JV, I'm Dakota, and you might have seen me on the Discord chat every once in a while. Congrats on 1 year of podcasting. In my opinion, my favorite part of the SwitchCast is when you guys engage with the community much more than other podcasts. Also, I have a question for you guys. What happens when the Switch is replaced with Nintendo's next console? Would the Switch podcast still be called SwitchCast, or would it be renamed? That's all I have to say. Keep up the great work, guys. Bye.
Oh, actually, that's a question we have thought about before, Dakota. I know that, like, technically, like, for like super long-term thinking, we probably could have named the show something like, I don't know, like the Team Pocket Podcast or something like that. But I don't know. I mean,
the SwitchCast just felt so right.
It just felt right. Yeah, we didn't need to think about it, and you know what? It sells it. And obviously, I do think that we'll probably keep doing a podcast when whatever next podcast, system comes out. By then, I think we'd either just do a second podcast under that name, and then maybe hopefully
switch over.
Yeah, hopefully by then we'll be making enough from Patreon that we can afford to do 2 podcasts. And then maybe...
yeah, we'll see about that, Casey. But yeah, thanks a lot for that voicemail, Dakota. That's definitely something that we are constantly thinking about. Yeah, we are leaning towards just switching the name entirely into a new podcast endeavor. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, but maybe like, 5-6 years down the line, Nintendo is bought out by Acme Industries, and it's now the Nintendo Acme Pod game system.
Here's hoping they call it the Nintendo Switch U.
There we go.
And we don't have to do anything.
All right, next one.
Hey, Casey and JV, this is Dr. Panda. First of all, congratulations on a full year of the SwitchCast. That's crazy awesome. You guys have an awesome show and an even better community. My favorite SwitchCast memory is attending the Switch Fest in New York City and playing Splatoon with that whole group. Between that and playing so much Mario Kart 8 in that one tournament we had that my hands were bruised and I had imprints of Switch buttons on my fingers. Anyway, keep up the good work, and here's to another year.
Ooh, yeah, finger bruises. I've been getting those actually from poking. My thumb, I feel like I have like a callus building up on there because of that.
Girl, you're not a real gamer unless you've had so many finger bruises.
I feel like there should be a term like fighter's thumb or something like that. Like there has to be a term out there for like when you get these calluses on your finger from playing it.
Well,
like,
it's not even just for fighting games. Like Dr. Panda here, he got it from Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
And that's so awesome.
That's when we did the, like, what was it, like a 6-hour tournament thing, and people were just playing it the whole time just to, like, score up the most points.
Oh, man, that was some good times. I definitely want to try to do more of that type of stuff in the future.
Yeah.
And again, thanks so much for participating in our community a lot, Dr. Panda. You're just such a prominent member, and we're really happy to have you on board.
I was happy to show him Two Brothers Pizza. When he came to New York, he was asking me, for the Switch Fest, he was asking me, where do I eat? Where's a good place to eat? And I said, do you want to eat well, or do you want to eat cheaply? And he was like, I'll lean towards cheap. And I showed him Two Brothers Pizza, and he was like, for $1 a slice, that is some darn good pizza. And I was like, yep, there we go.
It's New York.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun at the Switch Fest there, and yeah, we did play a lot that night, and yeah, it's that kind of stuff. It's that kind of, gaming with people that has made this a different experience than anything before.
Hey guys, this is Chad from the SwitchCast Discord, and I wanted to say that I've really enjoyed playing the Switch with my family at home, which is great. We play lots of multiplayer games, and I'm really enjoying playing all of the online games and everything that there is to offer. And I've made some great friends and great gaming buddies on the SwitchCast, so thanks for a great year and helping make the Switch as good as it can be.
Yeah, I mean, so many of the games, like Snipper Clips and the upcoming Mario Odyssey 2-player mode, those are the moments, like, when I bring out those games, or like when I bring out Snipper Clips and I can just play with somebody who's never even seen one before, that has just been a certain kind of magic when we're playing that, like, I haven't had for a very long time, and it's just been great to just get anybody into it like that.
It's really nice to be able to bring this console to a family setting and playing video games in front of a couch together again. He brings up a really awesome point about how our online community adds value to the Switch itself, because it's just a built-in group of friends that we can play with.
I'm very jealous that he's got kids who he could play with, because I'm always worried that when I have kids, are they going to play games, or are they going to be like one of those people who like get into sports and don't like playing games and stuff? Oh, I'd be so disappointed if my kid like just doesn't get into games. So like, you are a lucky man for being able to share this with your family like that. I'll settle for the fact that my wife is looking forward to actually playing Mario Odyssey with me, though.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Chad.
Hello, it's long time listener, Blunners. I've actually followed you guys since the first podcast, I think, actually. When you were talking about actually the Switch and all that, and we didn't even have it, which is a bit weird. when you think about it in the long term. And when you were just doing like episodes every 1 week or something like that. Congratulations on making a year, and here's to many more.
I absolutely love that we have international listeners that would actually listen in and participate in our community.
I'm guessing he's international. We don't know for sure, do we?
You know, who knows? His accent is awesome enough to warrant that.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know how we did a show without a system to talk about. It was mostly just rumors, but, you know, it's those pipe dreams that get you so excited and, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's really weird that we did that, but I'm glad that we were able to sustain this Nintendo Switch hype before the console came out. Honestly, we were a little bit worried that once the Switch came out, the hype would die down a little.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't really be able to keep podcasting because no one would be interested anymore. But no, the Switch has gotten huge, and I'm glad that we have a community of friends and backers that will keep this hype train going for as long as the Switch is alive.
All right, next one.
Hey, this is Shell Shock, and I would like to wish you guys a happy anniversary for the SwitchCast. Can't believe it's been a year already. Looking forward to more memories of podcasts, and looking forward to what you guys are going to be doing real soon. Thank you very much, and may you guys have another year of awesomeness.
So, just to supplement Shell Shock's voicemail, he actually left a comment saying, "My favorite Nintendo Switch moment was when I brought it with me to play Super Bomberman R. The social aspect made it special." Do you think I replicated his voice pretty well, you think?
Yeah, you got his presence. You got his,
Yes.
yeah. He has a strong presence in his voice.
He does. And honestly, that's a really great point. Super Bomberman R is an awesome local multiplayer experience, and I think that game was one of the first games that really let us experience that local multiplayer mayhem on the Switch.
That and the Tetris the Puyo Tetris demo. Those were the two things, I think, the first Switch Fest we did. Those were the first two games people had that we could actually play
So
local
that's
multiplayer
good stuff.
with.
I'm glad you brought that up, Shell Shock, and thank you for being such a prominent member of the community.
Yes.
Hey guys, Rin here. Happy anniversary, you nerds. Congrats on yet another successful podcast. May this one be even better than the last. Casey, I hope you join us in the Stardew Valley chat soon, because that thing's been going like nonstop since the game release. It's a little crazy, and it's awesome. Anyway, love you guys. See you in the Discord, and stay out of the tall grass. Or no, keep it in your pocket. No. Oh, switch it up.
That's good. That was good. Yes, Rin, I'll be in that chat. I've been playing the game so much that I will be in there more. I just did not have a good week to do so. Though you might have to wait for me to come back from vacation to also chat in there. Now, who am I kidding? I'm going to be sitting on a beach, sipping margaritas, and chatting in the Discord all the
Honestly,
time anyway.
wow, it still blows my mind how long Rin's been with us in all of our podcast endeavors. It's been pretty crazy.
Yeah. That's good.
She's been there for a while. So thanks a lot for being such an awesome member of all of our communities for a while, Rin. Thank you.
Yep. She's part of the inner circle.
Yeah, she is. She really is.
Yes.
Hey guys, Decoy DW here. I just want to say that two moments have really stood out to me over the last year. First, the surprise and excitement of just how well the Switch is connecting with people, and of course the constant flood of game releases killing my wallet. And second, finding the SwitchCast community, which has had just a drastic impact on my gaming enjoyment. Just want to say you guys are awesome, and I appreciate you all. Thanks.
Yep, kind of what you said, man, and just trying to add value to the system itself. And yeah, the hit to the wallet, man. We were talking about this last week.
He's so right about that. He's so right about the wallet hit.
It's so hard. Like, honestly, I mean, it's a good problem to have for the Switch, but man, like, we were worried that it would be another Wii U situation where we'd have a big game and then we'd wait a while and we'd like fill time with some like, you know, whatever shovelware. But no, we have the exact opposite. We have so much and I don't even know what to hit up next.
Honestly, we definitely want to serve our purpose here on the podcast and try to grab all of these game experience to throw at you. And if any of the descriptions that we have catches your interest, that's something you can invest time in. So we definitely want to add even more value by, being your curators for your Nintendo Switch games. Yes. There's a lot out there.
Hey, this is Mecha Dragon from the Switch and Play meetup group. I just want to say congratulations, SwitchCast, for being a year old. Ever since the Switch announcement, I had so much fun with my Switch. I'm actually kind of grateful I actually managed to get a Switch this year. I played so many great games. I think there was so many people playing such great games. Having so much fun at the Switch and Play meetup, as I always do. And my favorite game so far is Pokken. It's like a very fun game. It's all action-packed. That's much to say. Enjoy my Switch. I'm looking forward to another year of the SwitchCast. Thanks, guys, again. You guys are awesome.
That definitely ranks among my own personal favorite moments of the year. Has been sitting down at the Switch Fest when people who have never seen it before just kind of like come to the group, or someone who's never gotten their hands on it yet, just sit down and they've been playing multiplayer games with us, like Pokken, and they leave a Switch Fest being like, all right, I guess I gotta buy one now. I'll see you guys here next month.
Yeah. Man, I definitely would push you guys to host your own Switch Fests in your local communities. Gather around with some friends and play the Switch out in public for people to really see it, or gather with your local communities to play games together. It's such a rewarding experience, even to people who are, generally introverts otherwise.
Yeah.
I hear stories about Switch Fest LA and, Switch meetups in Houston and East Coast, West Coast, and they've all seemed like so much fun. So, yes, I definitely would implore you guys, start up a little Switch community wherever you are. See if you can get that going.
Hey, this is Ardwolf. I was calling to wish you guys a happy first anniversary. My favorite part of the podcast so far, some guys were giving Casey a really hard time about how he pronounced Mario, which, by the way, is incorrect. Anyway, they were being, really mean and, cussing at him, I think, and stuff. And he brought it up in the podcast, and JV was like, in all fairness, and then Casey's like, there is no in all fairness. It just made me laugh. It was the first time that the podcast really made me laugh out loud. Anyway, thanks, guys, for all the fun, and happy birthday.
Yeah, that was a good moment. That was a very good moment. I still implore you, Casey, that you're saying it wrong. You're saying it so wrong.
I'm not going to say it now. They're not going to get me to say it here.
So what's that Odyssey game that's coming out for the Switch in a few days, Casey?
That's Luigi's Brothers Odyssey.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
The Super Koopa cousins.
I honestly can't bring myself to ever say it as Mario. It's hard to say Mario to me. So the fact that it comes out so naturally in your accent is pleasant and humorous and awful at the same time.
Forget about it.
Oh, Casey, he's such a New Yorker.
I gotta say though, it's fun to get my first hate mail on something like that. I gotta say, That's how I knew I made it as a podcaster. I got my first hate mail.
Well, that's the thing. You know what? If it's something as trivial as how you pronounce Mario, I think we did good.
Okay,
I think we did good.
True enough.
Thanks a lot, Ardwolf. That was awesome. Awesome reminder of a great moment.
Yeah. So what has been your favorite moment with the Switch this year, JV?
Oh, it's so hard to say. I've lived through every single one of the SwitchCast moments. Honestly, what I really enjoyed most are when we have guests on, when it's not just us two talking about our thing. I like it when we have guests who can infuse their own personal experience into our podcast. It's very fun to have. For example, I always have fun when Rin comes over, because it's like having having a longtime friend join us for the podcast every once in a while.
Yeah. I gotta say, probably one of my favorite moments definitely was when we had Chucklefish on, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I was just like toying around with this game, Suikoden," and then I'm just like, "Suikoden? Did he say Suikoden?" And I freaked out, and then like I nerded out with him over like this game for so long there. But that whole episode I thought was like really great because I felt like we hit a point with the podcast that I felt that we've gotten attention from maybe developers who are starting to recognize, and I feel like a little bit more legit. I feel like when I see us at the top of the Nintendo Switch search list on iTunes, then I feel like, you know what? Yeah, like this podcast isn't just some little hobby or something on the side. It's like a real part of what is making the Switch a success right now. Like we're part of that. We're not like a huge fraction, but we are recognized, and we're part of the engine, I guess you could say there. And I just felt I felt closer to it than I have any other system before.
Absolutely, it felt really nice.
Yeah. All right. Let's close up shop here, shall we, and say goodbye for this week at least.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, if you like the show and you want to see us do another year of this amazing mess, why don't you visit us at patreon.com/theswitchcast, pledge your support, get access to some extra little stuff like that Zelda Breath of the Wild episode that we did, and a few other little goodies to boot. We also have a Discord, that's in the show description, a Facebook group, and a Twitter that's just full of fun and updates of what we're doing all the time.
So, this week's review crew is Switch Squad, Valorian 035, Faustine 99, Cullen Tap, Forever 749,
Crazy Legs 15, CN 31672, Sergio LB 64, Bludgeoned Robot,
I like it,
and Linked Triforce.
Had me at Robot, had me at Triforce. Nice job, guys.
All right. Well, thank you, HeatleyBros, for the theme music, and Halc, Protodome, and Will Rock for the closing theme. I haven't said that in a while. And until next time,
Switch, it's up.